In the studio today are volunteers for the Relay of Life Cupertino to take place at De Anza College on July 16th and 17th. In the next half hour, you'll learn about the Relay for Life, how you can get involved, and what the residents of Cupertino are doing to make it a success. My name is Sandra James, and I will be your host for this edition of The Better Part. Please stay tuned.
Welcome to The Better Part, a program that encompasses a diverse spectrum of topics important to our community, which we hope will both inform and entertain you. We invite you to sit back and enjoy the program.
I'd like our viewers to meet Susie Andrade. She's the chair of the Relay for Life Cupertino. Dennis Whitaker, who is the team captain, and Michael Gottwald, who is a participant. It takes all three of them to make this a success. Susie, why don't you tell us what Relay for Life is all about?
Well, Relay for Life is the signature fundraising event for the American Cancer Society. Communities across the globe gather together and form teams to raise funds for the American Cancer Society, as well as awareness of the services and programs that the American Cancer Society offers to individuals who have been diagnosed and families that are dealing with diagnosis of cancer.
And can you tell us how it got started in the United States?
Yes, Relay for Life started in 1985 when Dr. Gordon Klatt of Tacoma, Washington, decided to raise awareness for cancer and funds by walking and running for 24 hours. A 24-hour period signifies the fact that cancer never sleeps. And in that year, he raised $27,000, and that started a movement that continues today as across the globe, communities get together and have Relay for Life, and over $1 billion has been raised for cancer funds and cancer research.
So I would like each of you to speak just a little bit about what actually happens at Relay for Life. And Susie, why don't you start us with the opening, because I think that's something that you're in charge of, obviously.
Yes, the whole event is a really high-spirited event where teams form and you have people you know and people you don't know who get together and have this sense of community for a day of fun and festivities and fellowship to raise this awareness of cancer and to get the community involved. And it's broken into three parts. And the opening ceremony is what we call the celebration ceremony, where we celebrate the survivors. And the survivors start out with a lap around the track and kick off the relay as we celebrate the fact that they have fought the battle and won the battle against cancer.
And Dennis, I know that that's a very important part for you. And you usually participate in that. So why don't you tell us a little bit about what a team captain's responsibilities are, and then maybe you can tell us a little bit why the opening survivors walk is very personal for you also.
The team captain's responsibility before the event is to get a very decorated baton so it can be passed off from one walker to the next.
And it's very competitive.
And it's very competitive. And then the team
we have
captain.
Prizes.
and I might add that I was the team captain last year. We have a lovely young lady who's a captain this coming year, Eva Martin Long, for State Farm. But the captain is responsible for making sure the walkers are going to be there 24 hours and make sure that they're backups in case somebody is not there. Also, in the past years that State Farm has been involved, they've had camper ships where people take tents and camp out, and it was fun walking from midnight to 4 in the morning and seeing you and Michael camping out with 10 million other people around the track, and it was fun saying hi to you guys while you were awake. And then the responsibility is to make sure that the captain and team members are there at the beginning of the event and at the end of the event. And I have a personal stake in this because both my parents died of cancer. They both smoked themselves to death. And my wife came down with breast cancer 10 years ago, and she's doing fine and wonderful. And I just have another member who just came down with lung cancer. So it's very, very personal to me.
Michael Gottwald is community member that almost all of us know and love, Michael. And I know, Michael, that you walk for a lot of different events. This is one that you feel especially strong about and you've been very active in. Tell us a little bit about, as a participant, what you do in Relay for Life and why it's important to you.
I go around collecting money for Relay for Life because I've gotten a lot of friends who have gotten cancer. My mom's mom had stomach cancer and she died from it.
One of the things about Relay for Life is everybody knows someone who either is a cancer survivor or who died from cancer. And so it reaches out to everyone. I think that's one of the strengths of it. One of my favorite parts of Relay for Life is the luminarium. And why don't you explain a little bit about that?
The luminaria ceremony is the second part of the ceremony, the remember part. And in the remember part, we try to remember those we have lost through cancer. And it happens at dusk. And we take luminaria bags, and you can see some of them here, and these are some from my family's experiences. And we remember those that we have lost, as well as we pay tribute to some that are still fighting cancer. And they line them up around the track and in the bleachers. Last year we actually had the bleachers at the Cupertino relay that spelled out more birthdays. And there were candles with everything. All the bags were lit up so it gives it a glow. And as Dennis mentioned, walking in the middle of the night. What's one of my favorite parts to walk is in the middle of the night, because it's dark and all the glow is going with the bags around the track and in the bleachers. And it's just a really powerful event. And we have somebody come out. Usually we have someone come. We might have someone come sing a song. We might have someone do a speech. But last year, and I know that we're planning on doing it again this year, is there's a reading of the names. The people on the teams can submit names that they want to recognize that have either lost their battle to cancer, and we'll do in memory of and in honor of. And you have a chance to submit the names and have them read. And it's just a very powerful moment to realize how many people cancer has touched. And it gives you that feedback of, yes, I am here for a reason. I want to be here. I'm fighting for a good cause.
It is an extremely moving part of the whole day and the whole night. And last year, my company, which is Lehigh, participated for the first time. And I have to say, that's because Ruby, who is the editor of the C magazine, talked to me so much about it that I really got excited. And when I presented it to my company, and I want to talk a little bit in a minute also about State Farm and how companies can get involved, because I think that's really very important.
Absolutely.
So we did it for the first time. We had a very large, we had 46 people in our group. And we were very proud of that, and we pitched a tent. It was not only important for all the employees, because they all do have people that are either struggling with cancer or family members or neighbors or people that they loved that they wanted to honor. But from a corporate point of view, it was a marvelous builder of good morale and synergy within the company at the same time. So I'm an old HR, manager kind of person. That struck me as very valuable for companies. In addition, for a way for them to get their employees out into the community to be visible. So would you talk a little bit? I know State Farm's been involved a lot more years, and we're doing it again this year. We will do it every year now.
Yay.
But you've been involved, and State Farm is a national. Are they not nationally involved with Relay? So
I can't speak to them being nationally involved, but they're very supportive of us, and our management in Santa Clara Valley is very supportive of us and has donated monies and energies to it. So the agents come out and walk at their separate shifts, and it's a very low-key event, but I want to add that it's a very educational event, because one of the people on our team brought their daughter, who happens to be in 7th grade or 8th grade now, and she couldn't wait at the end of the event to get her own class next year, which is this year now, to be involved, so they're going to sign up a team. So it's not only for adults, but it shows education that gets kids involved.
I think that's a very good point, because I'm always in favor of doing anything to educate children, but this whole community is so education-based. I think it's a really good way for children to see how you help other people, how people come together as a group and do something, and so I would encourage anyone to bring children, and you might want to address that, Susie, as the chair.
Absolutely. With the children involved, we try and have activities that pertain to them. We have a fight back tent where you can go and you can learn more information about what services are offered. There are different services offered by the American Cancer Society. Number one, you can call an 800 number and talk to someone 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. They don't take holidays, and you talk to a live person. So if you have any questions in the middle of the night, you've just been diagnosed with cancer and you don't know where to turn or what this option is, or you're confused because the doctors give you all kinds of information, you can call them and talk to a live person who can walk you through steps. They have Road to Recovery programs where they offer in the community drivers that will take you to your appointments if you don't have anybody that can get you there. And they have a Look Good, Feel Good program that you can go in for people that have been diagnosed with breast cancer. They can offer prosthesis. They can offer wigs to these patients that have been diagnosed, and just kind of the support that you need. There's also just reach out to people and having someone call and check in on you. Hey, I noticed you were a survivor last year and you've recently been diagnosed. Then what can we do for you? Do you have any questions? And all of those programs are offered by the American Cancer Society so that people can come learn. They can learn about how they can fight back. The third part, the Celebrate, Remember, Fight Back. So the third part of Relay is the fight back, and we encourage people to do a fight back pledge. It could be getting in shape, losing weight, stop smoking. My fight back pledge one year was to join the committee, and now I'm the event chair. So it just kind of sucks you in, and it's a really good feeling of being involved in this wonderful event and giving back to the community. And also, for me, it's remembering my dad and many others who I've lost or I know that are fighting cancer.
Let's just talk for a few minutes about some of the really fun aspects. For instance, the breast cancer survivors all have these bras that they've decorated in the most outrageous ways, and you can, and all the Lehigh employees did this, you can pay some money to them.
Right.
That's how they raise money, and walk around wearing these outrageously funny bras. And what a wonderful way to have people be comfortable with that whole subject of breast cancer. There is a wonderful camaraderie. That's another thing about this event.
Yes.
I think that it's a feel-good event. I mean, all of us here are involved in a lot of different nonprofit organizations, and they're all wonderful. But this is a really particularly feel-good event, I think, because there's
really
a lot
is.
of unique things going on.
My sister has always says, and I borrow this from her all the time, but it's a day that we can have fun at cancer's expense. And it is the camaraderie of being out there together. Our teams, this is our 5th year with the Relay for Life of Cupertino, and our teams have a sense of competition, but it's a very friendly competition. Like, I'm going to take you down, I'm going to make more money than you. I started on a team called Stars of Hope, and their big thing is stars, and they have pictures of those that they're walking for. And I have a new team now, which we are et cetera, which stands for Embracing the Challenge, Empowering the Cure. And we have teams out there. This year we have a new team joining us. Crowns for the Cure, a group from the local pageant circus, is going to join us. And Breast Friends is our breast cancer survivors. We've got the Lockheed Martin Carol's Cancer Crusher team. And so we have Rock and Roll for Life. We have Happy Feet. They're out there rocking, and just they really think about what they're going to call themselves and get out there and just make it a fun experience. They decorate their campsites, and everything is out there.
I know the group that recruited me was the Flamingos.
The Flamingos.
And they have a party the night before, and they decorate their shirts with all kinds of fun things, and they wear flamingos, little bands
Yes.
with flamingos sticking up, and they have those pink flamingos.
Right.
And they have the pink flamingos out there. And we happened to camp right next to them last year, which was a lot of fun. And I'm going to do it again this year. And they really motivated my Lehigh team. Now, we're not going to tell you what we're going to do this year, but we now have decided that we want to have our own theme, and we have something in mind that we want to do, and it kind of just feeds off each other. So Michael, look at you today with your Relay for Life shirt and your Relay for Life hat, and so you have your own way of dressing up in a special way for this relay. And tell us, how did you get those, and why are you wearing them?
Found it on the internet.
There you go.
Very nice.
And it's a bright, bright purple,
Yeah.
so people can see you. Now, when you wear those out in the community, people ask you about it?
Yes, they do.
And what do you tell them when they ask you?
That we need to find a cure for cancer, because I've gotten a lot of friends that have had cancer, like Don Burnett.
Michael raised personally, single-handedly, enough money that he won a jacket.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's
And
what
he's
I was
very,
going to
very
ask
him
him
about
I
that.
recall
jackets.
that.
But Sandy, one thing that has been skipped is, even though it's a 24-hour walk, the energy level never drops. Even when I walked from 2, 3, 4 in the morning, everyone else was sleeping, but the people who were walking the track with excitement and vigor.
Yes.
The energy level never goes away.
And I think it would be good to clarify, each person doesn't need to be there 24 hours walking. That's
No.
kind of a scary thought. Your team needs to have someone there, so there is always somebody walking within a
Correct.
24-hour team. So, for instance, we had a large enough team that we could have one, or we doubled up on some of those, but 1 or 2 people walking, and many of them were only able to stay for an hour or two. They brought their kids and left.
Right.
And then there were others of us that stayed the whole time and really enjoyed that.
And there's also food 24 hours a day,
that's
so you
true.
never drop off of
We do.
energy-giving ideas.
And we have a lot of our local restaurants that
We are
donate.
very lucky. We've had very good community support. We've had Park Place Restaurant donate for the survivors a brunch. We've had BJ's Restaurant donate a survivor dinner. Fresh Choice has come out and donated lunch for us. We've gotten pizza deliveries from McHart's Pizza, Florentine's.
Cake is the greatest
Hobie's
in the
always gives
world.
coffee cake. We really have a good committee that goes out and works with these restaurants to get as many donations as we can. And in addition to that, we have the teams that'll sell cookies or candy and as their little personal fundraisers. So you won't go hungry at a relay.
So let's go back and talk about the money part, because obviously this is a fundraiser to help raise money for research to find a cure for cancer. So a couple questions. How much money did you raise last year? What's your goal for this year? And then talk to us a little bit about where the money goes, because that's a question most people need to have answered. If I give you this money or raise this money, how much goes to overhead? How much actually goes to cancer research?
Last year we raised just shy of $100,000 at the Cupertino Relay. So we came in about $97,800. So our goal this year is set. Our personal goal from our committee is $110,000, and we really feel strongly that we'll be able to achieve that. And so that's getting all of the teams rallied around. Last year we had about 18 teams that were actually participants on the field, and we had a couple of virtual teams that raised money but didn't show up the day of the event. And so this year we're aiming to get between 25 and 30 teams. So as we increase the number of teams and number of participants, we hope that with the goal is that everybody raises $100. You absolutely can come out and participate without raising any money. That is not set in stone. But the $100 is the goal, and that gets you the T-shirt, and so it's just kind of a fun thing to say, hey, I did that. And it's a more reasonable amount.
So where does the money actually go?
The money goes to the American Cancer Society, and I believe the number is about 8% that goes to overhead, and it could be less than that. I think their goal is 6% that goes to overhead, and forgive me for not being exact on that. And then there's a good percentage of it that goes to research, and I want to say that's about 30 to 40% that goes to research. And then the rest of it goes to the programs that are offered in the community. And we have
Such as?
the Look Good, Feel Good program, the Reach to Recovery. There's lodging programs. Now, our community doesn't have a lodging program yet, but in other communities there are lodging programs where somebody could go stay.
Let's talk a little bit about the emotional aspect of this event, because it is a lot of fun. It's a lot of work for the people that organize it, and thank you, Susie, for taking this on.
You're welcome.
But it is, above all, in my experience and perception, it's a very, very emotional event. So the luminariums, which are my personal favorite, I love at night when everything's all lit up, and you just walk around the track and you see, because every luminarium represents somebody's saying thank you or in memory of someone. For instance, my father was a cancer survivor. He had colon cancer, and he died in 2003, just for whatever reasons, just of natural death. But he's a cancer survivor. And I started out just having one for him, and before I was through, I had like 15 or 20 of them, because I could think of people that I really respected that were cancer survivors, or those that did not survive cancer. And that's an extremely moving part, and I guess that's my favorite part of the whole ceremony. But let's ask each one of us, what is the most moving aspect of your experience with Relay for Life Cupertino? And Michael, why don't you start?
My experience is the committees, the team members, like the great Dennis Whitaker and Susie Andrade and Michael Andrade, and we need to find a cure for cancer. So that's my experience.
Okay.
It's very important. I've lost too many friends to cancer. We need to find a cure for cancer.
Thank you, Michael. Dennis, how about
Sandy,
you?
probably the most emotional part is the first lap of the survivors, because my wife is a survivor, and all the other people that are participating going around, and there must be hundreds of people making that walk.
Yes.
And there's hope. And it's probably the very, very high mark. It doesn't come down a lot, but that just gives chills when you get to walk around with her, and then you see all the other people coming, and you know that they survived. That's a real high point.
It is, and one of the parts of that I was moved by, excuse me, is that it's just not the survivors, but it's like Dennis. I know you walk with your wife. We had an employee who was telling me that his mother was a breast cancer survivor, and I said, well, bring her and walk with her. And he do you think she'd really like that, Sandy? And I said, I'm a mom. Let me tell you something. I know she wouldn't like it. She would love it. It would bring tears to her eyes. So he got his two brothers together, and the three of them came, and they brought their mother, and she cried the whole time. It was incredible. And so I think not just the survivors, but their families and their loved ones that walk with them.
Right.
So, Susanna, do you have a special thing that you especially find emotional?
I actually go back and forth between both of yours. The Luminaria ceremony is very touching, and that is how my family got involved in Relay. Our first year that we ever did Relay was when my father was losing his battle to cancer, and I'm from one of 10 siblings, and we all went out and walked together, and we happened to be there at the Luminaria ceremony, and it just made an impact on us that we've come back year after year. And we've done a couple of other relays, but found our way to Cupertino, where I became more entrenched in. But I agree with Dennis that his message of hope, and when you see the survivors opening up, and you know that there's hope, and they're all wearing purple shirts. The survivors get purple shirts versus the participants are in white shirts. So they stand out, and they have their caregivers with them. And oftentimes we have something, I think last year the caregivers were given a keychain by their survivor. We've had pins before, and we try and recognize the caregivers as well, because the survivors can't do that without them.
Yeah.
And so just the combination of all of it, the entire day is emotional. It's a chance for my family. My team is primarily family members, and we hang out together, and we have a good time. We laugh, we cry, but it's just incredible.
So tell us, how can people get involved? How can they get that information? And how can they talk to people? Like, the reason I came last time, and it was made easy for me, is because someone that had already done it reached out to me,
Right.
as I told you. And I said, okay, I'll do it if I can be right next to you, because you know how to do it and you've done it before.
Right.
And that was really helpful to me. So how can people get involved? How do they reach you? How do they get help? And how do they get their questions answered?
Well, we have a very good, you can't have a relay without 4 things. You need survivors, you need teams, you need committee members, and you need sponsors and donations, obviously, so that goes hand in hand. But to get involved, you can look at our website, and that's the www.relayforlife.org/Cupertino. CA is the Cupertino one. But if you're seeing this and you don't live in Cupertino and want to look into other communities, most of the communities around here have their own relay, and you can look at the www.relayforlife.org/California, and you can search on your community. If you are newly diagnosed with cancer and you want to ask a question, or even if you're just still battling the cancer and you have a question for the American Cancer Society or looking for support, you can call their 800 number, and that's 800 ACS 2345, and that's 227-2345. If you want to just email, you can email cupertinorelay@yahoo.com.
So lots of ways people can get involved.
Yes.
And so I would encourage everyone, I think, that not only is this an event that will make you feel good, and where you can be very creative in the ways you participate and also the ways you raise money. Michael's an excellent example of that. It will not only change the lives of people that you're working toward helping, it will change your life in ways that you may not even understand immediately. But there will be an ongoing change that in very special ways. So I'd like to thank all of you for being here today, and our audience for checking out this very special event, Relay for Life, at De Anza College on July 16th and 17th. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us. We hope that you have found today's program both informative and interesting. If you would like to suggest a topic or a guest for the better part, you can always reach us at the Cupertino Senior Center. The number there is 408-777-3150. You can learn more about us and order a copy of this program or one of the many programs that we've done by visiting our website. The website address is www.thebetterpart.com. The Better Part has many of its programs available through the Santa Clara County Library System. And the Better Part has selected programs also on YouTube. Thanks again for watching. See you next week.